All right. Um, so we are still on table styling. So we did take this major thing, these few things now, on how to adjust our table. So that is what we are going to do. Please, I will indulge you to be more attentive in this particular section of the class because most of the questions on web authoring, it's based on this. So most of the questions I've seen is based on modification of your table. So let's go straight ahead. Now, I've taught you styling, that's CSS, and attribute. So, of course, attribute is the property you are giving to an element. Then CSS is one of the ways you can make an element. You can modify the presentation of an element. So, let's take a quick one. So this is a table. We are going to use this table along with your course book. This is not exactly the table in your course book, so but we are going to use it. So now we want to style this now. First of all, let's give this in a border. If you check this now, if you check this, it doesn't have a border. This is our table, just an empty table without a border. So though the table head made it look a bit more matured. Now, the first thing we are going to do is, if we want to adjust this, we want to make adjustment of this. Let's use your course book, for instance. I want to make, if you check your course book, for example, we have want to achieve this kind of table with line, with caption. Do you get it now? Exactly with this kind of line, with caption, it's very simple. Now, the ideal thing that we normally do is just put an attribute. If I put an attribute here, table border, an attribute is equal from CSS style, right? If I put border and I place it at 1, 1 is the thickness, don't forget. If I do something of this nature now, if I go to my CSS, have you seen it has added a borderline. So now, just like I told you, there are several ways we can do this. There are several ways we can do this. Okay. Now we can as well add other properties to this. For example, now by simply typing what? Style. Let me make it a more good. Can you see now? Style. I type width, height, 50%. Margin is auto. That's the space between it. Then I do text align. The alignment of the text is in center. Then for us, remember initially, let me remove this so that you see something. Remember initially, you need to know this particular thing, please. Let me remove this border now. And let's go over to this. Border spacing. Can you see what? Can you see it now? That this line is double. Do you get it now? So now we did not, because we did not collapse the border. If you want this thing to be single line now, that means there should not be a part. The tiny line between these two, space between these two lines is called a part. Do you understand? So we want to collapse it. We simply write what? Border collapse. Border collapse. Border collapse. Simple. You get it? I guess we've gotten this border collapse now. And this, it will collapse the border. That means there should not be any part between this. Okay, so we have achieved this. So this is the basic thing you should know. So this type of CSS styling, remember the rule of say, once you put style, that means every other code you are writing here should be like CSS. But this one is an attribute. This border is an attribute. You get it now? So this border is an attribute. How do we know an attribute? Just write the just write the selection and give it a value. Do you get it? That's how it works. So that means for this head now, if I just want to use an attribute to make this thing, to change the color of this particular first name, I'll just write color. Since color is a valid attribute in HTML, I just say color red. This is not a CSS file. This is what? An attribute in HTML. This is the syntax. Just write your declaration and give it a value. Simple. So let's check if something happened that I think it's not valid. So that is it. Now also we could everything we have written here now. Even this thing has equivalent value in CSS. So assuming we don't like this, let me remove this thing. Let's change it to CSS. Let's change the CSS to another place. We don't want these things, right? Let me quickly, let's use an internal style sheet to do this. Let's try an internal style sheet. Where are we supposed to write our style? In between the head, right? Any place we choose in between the head. Even if we choose, we can write it on top of it. It will still work, provided it's in between this head, right? So let's go now. Let me write it beneath the title. I put a style. So now let me not complicate this. Uh, okay. Now we go again. The next thing is use which element are we choosing? You are choosing table, right? We want to modify this table. We want to modify this table. Now that's what we want to do. So our selector is table. Our table. Then let me leave this comma so that I don't confuse you. If not, we can select more than one, isn't it? We want to select more than one. So that means we've selected both the table itself, the TH and the TDs. So that's it. So you can just place comma, or you just put it like that. Let me just finish it like this. So this is it. So this is our Just align centered. So the font family, that means the font style, just like we have in Microsoft Word. Then the border collapse. We are collapsing the border, right? Then which other thing? Then for the T, let's collapse the borders and see what happens. Okay, we collapse the border. We didn't give it, you need to make it solid. Now, we can just make our border attribute. So this is it. So all those long things I wrote here before has been placed here. So most times you can be asked to make this thing to occupy 70% of the window. You can just make this in 70%, and that's all. Make it 70%. That is it. Have you seen it occupied much space in between the center? If I make it 90 to reach at least this place, and remember that why this thing is in center is because I made it auto. I made it to be in auto margin. That means the margin should be automatic. So let's take this thing to, let me take this thing to 90%, 90%. So I'm using it now. So that is it. So the other major thing we need now is another important thing is adjusting cell to span more than one column, or then adjusting cell to span more than one table. So these two things, we've done this. Okay. So these two things now is the major concern now. Now, before we start, let's take an illustration. We should be able to draw this. You check this table. Check this table now. Can you see that this table, this table, this table? You can see there an adjustment in it. That this is not your regular table, right? So we want to display something of this nature. So once you understand it, we are good to go. We are good to go. So let's try getting something of this. Create a new web page to look like this. So let's quickly do this classwork. Create a new web page to look like this. Table and header border must be 6 pixels, and all other grid line must be what? Must be 3 pixels. The right column must be 50% of the width of the table, of the width of the table. So, okay, let's go now. I think let me create a new page. Activate, Control X. I'll choose HTML, right? HTML. So the next thing I will do is I'll click this thing now. Then I can give it a title. Activate. I want to create a table. You can see my normally give me suggestions, but this time around, now let's understand how this thing is work. If you check, if you check this thing, it's not our normal table, right? We need, what we need in this is, what we need in this is, we need how many rows in this? This is TR1. We need the second row. We need the third row. We need another one, fourth row, fifth row, sixth row, seventh row, right? So that means we need up to open up 70R. Then we assume the way we know, remember if this thing was Excel or any other thing, ideally before by default, all these things will have this line close the rate, right? So how many rows how many columns do we need? We need how many columns? 1, 2, 3, right? So that means we need a table of 7 rows, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 rows, and what? 1, 2, 3 columns. So let's quickly do that. Let's quickly do that now. Let's quickly do that. 7 rows and 7 rows. We need it. So we can give it table head. We need table head. Does it have a table head? Okay, let's just make it row. Since it's TR, we need TR closed, isn't it? So we need another TR. So we need TR1, second one, this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we've made enough. This is TR for 1, 2, 3, 7. So we made, in assumption, we've made 7 lines. Now, the question now is, we need, how many rows do we need? We need another set of columns. This, right? So, let's, in our assumption, let's just give these things letters. This place, this empty places now, we'll just give it letter after we'll get those things done. So we have this to be so. Now, the next thing we are supposed to do is, let's open up TD. Let's open up TD. We could open up TD. I'll look up the suggestion. So let's class one. Hmm? Remember, we need how many rows do we need? We need one, two, three columns. So let's close it class one. Class two. So we made three rows, three columns for this particular row. We are going to take it gradually so that when we have gotten a grade line like look like this, we now choose which of them to delete from. No, we go again. We go again. The next one we need is this is it. Four, three, one, two, three. Simple, right? So now the same thing happens. The same thing. So let me copy this thing. Now we get a table. So now let's try this thing now. Let me try this and we'll just go. So let's check this. Of course, we are expecting something. This is our table. So let's try adjusting it. So the first thing we need is what? At least you don't forget that. So what the first thing we're supposed to do? God, one. You get it now. Then you put our style. Now let me just leave it at the border. The border. It's about complete. So this is it. Of course, you know how I got to this stage. Okay. Now, for us to get the structure, that means the ideal thing we are supposed to do to this table is to join this line, is to clean this line or join this line with with we'll join this line now. These two lines, join these two lines now. You get it? And write a single thing to this place. Then, and the rest, later we'll join this one. That means clean this one, clean this one, clean this one, clean this one. We'll not get it. So, how do we achieve it? This leads us to the next thing we have, which is what? Rule. Table rule and table columns. It's as simple as that. Table rule on what? Table columns. So let's go ahead now. Let's go ahead. So how do we achieve this? We use this simple attribute. Remember the difference between attribute and style. We use an attribute called, we have code span and row span equals, that means collapse. If it's the value you put is 2, that means it will collapse 2 columns. If I put 4 here, it will collapse what? 3 rows. It will collapse 4 rows. So let's use it on this now. So for us to collapse all of these things, these two now, for us to remove it, we now go to one of these, to the first one. We now go to the first one. Remember, you have, what are we collapsing? We want to collapse first column for this particular one now. We are collapsing this line and this line, isn't it? 1, 2, 1, 2. So we are going to use what? Column span. So just go over here to the first one and say co-span, right? How many are they? 2, 1, 2, 3. We clean up this. Have you seen that it affected it? So it's as simple as deleting by delete this now. So have you seen we've achieved it now? Let me take this into this. Have you seen we've achieved it? We are getting to the shape small. We've achieved this. Okay. So the next thing, you want to achieve this part now, right? Want to achieve that part. So that means for that one, we need to, how many do you want to delete? You need to delete 1, 2, 3, 4. And also delete this. So to achieve that 1, 2, 3, 4, what we need is, this time around, we now need row span. Row span. Row what? Span. So how do you achieve the row span? Remember that this, this 3 belongs to this 3. It's in the same line with this 3. It's in the same line with this 3. So if I come over here and place row span, and say like 2, or let's say like 2 now. If I say like 2, I will now go for, can you see that this thing has the form now? I will now go to each of these tables and delete the equivalent version of it. I will delete this one now. This is under column 3, CL3. Are you seeing it now? I also delete this. Since I said 2 column, 2 rows, delete 2 rows for me. Have you seen it now? So it has deleted the row 1 and the second row, but we needed 3, isn't it? So I will now go and delete the third one. The third one. So this is it. We've gotten empty 1, empty 2, empty 3, isn't it? So the same thing happens over So that means this two is complete now. So now we want to delete these two. These two now. We want to delete two more out of this. So that means we come over here now at this same one and place our row span 2. Delete this, isn't it? So let's check. Oh, something is missing.